on. Command has been given. Crank him up.
Let's go.
When I say I don't know, I don't know.
Let's go, baby.
Now, the Morning Drive.
Buckle up, everybody.
A little bit of this and a little bit of that.
It's a game changer.
I listen to you guys every single day on my way to work.
Well, again, I'm not a doctor, nor do I play one on the radio.
You guys are amazing.
What are you doing over there?
I'm going to the top.
The Morning Drive with Mike Bagley and Pete Pistone.
To the bat balls.
Sirius XM, NASCAR Radio, Channel 90, live and on the air for this Wednesday morning, April 26th, 2023. Mike Bagley here in Delmarva Studio 1D. We've got Pistol Pete Pistone in the Paisan Palace in Chicago. We've got Sammy in Studio 134 of the Beltway Bureau in Washington, D.C. We welcome each and every one of you to this Wednesday morning. Happy Hump Day to you, Triple P.
Good morning, Bagman. Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday to one and all. Halfway home here on the work week, getting ready to race at the Monster Mile and getting ready to say goodbye to the month of April here before too long as we head into the weekend. How are things there on the East Coast this morning?
Very good. Very good. Although something interesting is happening here. The last week or so, after we got through that hot spell that we've gotten through, we have now simmered down to below normal activities, weather-wise, and it's actually the last few days felt like more like fall than it has like spring. Even the way it looks in the morning, I mean, it's almost like that middle territory that I know we're transitioning to summer, but it feels like we're coming from summer into fall. And it's I don't know. It's just very weird. Even down in Atlanta was, Talladega was cooler than what we normally have in the spring. I had to wear a coat all weekend, and Saturday the wind was kicking. Man, it was blustery. So I don't know. It's just been like fall more than it's been like spring around here.
Ditto. I mean, the exact same thing. After that warm spell, we've been below normal. I was watching the Cubs were home last night, and Wrigley Field did not look like a pleasant place to watch a baseball game. You know those games, Mike, where the players are wearing the ski hats and the masks, and then the baseball hat on top of it. That's what we saw yesterday out there at Wrigley Field. The good news is the sun. To your point, so when I get up at like 4:45, it's still dark, but by the time I get outside in an hour or so to get the paper and all that, the sun's coming up. The birds are chirping, so that's good. We just need a few more degrees there on the old throw another log on the fire here for the next week. I think it's going to be nice tomorrow and Friday for them back cold again. So come on, Mother Nature. May is right around the corner.
I sent out a tweet this morning. I was surprised when I looked up and saw this, but our ABC affiliate in Philadelphia, Karen Rogers, is the meteorologist in the morning, and she came out of a break, and she was like getting a lot of folks asking about the NASCAR weekend in Dover this weekend, and I tweeted out the graphic of the updated forecast. Forecast has gotten a lot better for this weekend.
Yeah, I saw that.
Earlier in the week, late last week, it was looking a little rough, but looks like that things are taking a swing in our favor, at least for now, or they're calling for a potential of a nor'easter at some point over the course of the weekend leading into next week. So it looks like things are changing, and changing for the better. So thank you, Karen Rogers at 6ABC in Philadelphia, for bringing us up to speed on what's expected weather-wise at the Monster Mile this weekend.
In your recollection, just off the top of your head, is this the earliest Dover's ever had a race in April? I don't ever remember April being on the calendar at Dover. Do you?
It is, yeah. It used to be the standard
June.
Race weekend was mid-May.
Oh, yeah,
It used to be the second weekend of May, like May 13th, 15th, 18th, around in there, somewhere, depending on how the calendar fell. That's when we would have those Mason-Dixon 500 days back in the day. And then they moved it to that first weekend of June and Dover Pocono back-to-back. And then they pulled it back to the first weekend of May, which used to clash with what's called Dover Days, which is a big celebration down on the green. And then we've got now to this weekend. I would say that this is probably one of the earliest that I ever remember. But normally by now, we're just getting ourselves in the 60s and the 70s on a more consistent basis. This year, and it seems like everywhere, there are exceptions to these weather norms. It seems like wherever we go. And this weekend is no different. And it's going to be in the low 60s. But by now, we're normally upper 60s, low 70s on a consistent basis. Mm-hmm. Let's just hope we get there sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I agree. When you say around May 12th, 13th, 14th, or 15th, that's how long those Mason-Dixon 500s used to take, actually. Man, those were long races.
Those were some days. 5.5 hours of racing at the Monster Mile. I know it because I lived it.
Ugh, that's a lot.
Couple things. So I've been telling you, I don't know how much I have talked about this on the air versus off the air, but I've been having a problem lately. I think I've mentioned it a couple times. A potential sciatica situation brewing.
Well, you mentioned it yesterday when you were hoofing through the airport Monday. You kind of said sciatica problems. Yeah.
It's I have a friend of mine down in Fort Lauderdale who, when I was there over the New Year's break, was telling him about some challenges. He's a sports physical therapist.
Yeah.
He's like, seems like you got a little, you either got a piriformis muscle issue, may have a little sciatica issue, might want to get that checked. And of course, here it is now at the end of April, just getting around to it. But it's gotten to the point to where, I mean, if I turn over on my right side, I can't, within 2 minutes, I've got to turn back over. I can't sit still. I can't sleep.
It's horrible.
So anyway, I called, had a doctor's visit yesterday and dealt with this all afternoon. I now have PD to get an X-ray and an MRI.
Oh, sure.
To see
Cool.
what's
Of
going
course.
on in there.
Combo platter, you know.
He says got to have the imaging for the insurance. We'll see what we got going on, and then we'll proceed. It's like physical therapy and all that stuff. But for those that have it, I didn't even know what it was back in the day. And then now that I'm feeling the situations, I'm like, okay, wow, this is worse than I thought it was. It can get brutal. And of course, when you have a pain in a certain part of your body, everything hurts.
Yeah.
It's like everything. You just feel, but lower back. And I got one of those side eyes the other day on the airplane where as soon as the bell goes off, I've got to get up. Because I'm sitting when I sit for a prolonged period of time, when I get up, it's like, oh my gosh. Well, I did the old jump up, and I was waiting for the lady to say something because I thought it started, but it stopped. But why do y'all get out when the bell goes off? You
Who
can't
said
get
that?
off the plane right now. Oh, I've gotten that several times. I've seen
you know
rants on
what?
Facebook.
Oh, zip it, Doris. What do you care? Jeez.
Oh, yeah. I don't know why people get it when the bell goes off and they can't get right off the plane. It's going to be another 10 minutes.
It's not people who I get, like, if you got to get up, you got to stand up. It's the people who get up and start making their way towards the front of the plane.
Well, that part I get.
If you have a like you said, you had 12 minutes to get to where you're going. If someone was behind me and said, "Hey, I have to make my connection. I have 10 minutes to do it," I would say, "Person, go right ahead of me." But if you're just gonna start like walking through people when the plane when like they haven't even started, they haven't even opened the door yet, and people are already like making their way towards the front of the plane, where are you going? It's okay. You're gonna get off the plane in 5 minutes. You're gonna be just fine.
You're going to give them the bum's rush?
People have a problem with those of us that stand up as soon as the bell goes.
No, that's crazy. If you're standing, it's
I
your
know it
space.
is, but I'm just saying.
Your space.
I've lived
Here's the thing. If someone's behind me, like Sammy said, and they say, listen, I've got a connection, absolutely. I've stepped aside. Unfortunately, one of the times I did that, and I let the guy through, by the time I got off the plane, I go around the corner, he's sitting at the bar, having a beer. Wait a minute, weren't you guy that said you had a connection? What was your connection? What was your connection? To the tapper over here?
Well, no, he has a connection at Vino Volo around the corner, obviously.
Obviously. I was just mad because I didn't have that same connection, so that's why I was upset. But yeah, anyway. But yeah, stand up, Aggie. I mean, but that sciatica thing, I've had. I mean, here we go. Like some of the two guys on the deck of a cruise complaining about how they have the ills and they're sick, right? Oh, you should see. You think you're sick. When your back hurts, everything hurts. And you can't get comfortable. Sleeping at night when I was going through that was the worst. Man alive. Man, I'll tell you.
You can't stand, you can't sit, you can't lay, you can't do anything.
Yeah.
Just miserable.
Yeah.
Another thing. And I got down in the sucker hole of Facebook reel videos at one point over the weekend.
The sucker hole.
No, it's bad. Because once they start, one day I was on for over 2 hours just flipping and just watching these things. So I saw one the other day. All right. The heading of this conversation is words that are mispronounced. There are two that I saw that I had taken a sip of water and it went flying out. The first one, What do you call that restaurant, fast food restaurant that serves Cajun fried chicken?
Popeyes.
Not this lady.
What'd she call it? No.
Pope, yes.
Pope, yes.
I'm going to go to
my
Pope yes
God.
to get some chicken.
Oh my God. I mean, if it's
Here's the
spelled
other
that way, it's spelled that way, I guess, sort of.
Yeah,
I guess.
Now,
guess.
here's the other one. I know that this word has thrown people for loops in the past. What do you call that bottle that's in the cabinet in the kitchen, made by Lee and Perrins, that you hardly ever use? But it starts with W and
Yeah.
it's a very long word. What do you call that?
Worcestershire sauce.
Yeah, Worcestershire sauce.
Yes. What does this person call it?
Worcester Cherie.
It's like, come on. At that point, just pass me the bottle of stuff that starts with W. That's what I would say.
Worcester Cherie. Oh.
I mean, I have noticed, quite honestly, since you brought it up, I'm not going to call anybody out, some drivers and some athletes who have been in post-game and post-race situations where some of the word choice has been interesting.
Oh, there are some where I literally have I've been laughing so hard that I've
Say
almost
what?
ruptured my spleen.
Say it again. Back that up, Michelle. What did he say? Say it again. Let's play it again.
We've had a couple on this channel this week that I've had to hit my mute button when I've heard it.
I mean, we're all responsible. I mean, come on. I mean,
Listen, we all do it. I mean, hey, look. I mean, you and me, we are poster
come on.
children for this.
listen. It's not a.
Frankie Munoz, or whatever the hell his name is, and that's the example number one that I'll serve up for me. And I own it. I cannot say that man's name to save my soul.
Well,
Try doing that play-by-play in an ARCA race.
He's just, I would say, the guy in the whatever car number.
I
it is.
just call him Malcolm. Malcolm's up to second.
No.
Look at him go.
Did you say that in the broadcast?
No.
No.
Malcolm. I have, though, gone out of my way to not say his name because I get stumbled up on it.
Well, we've had
I have
that.
to get better with that.
So when in doubt, skip. Right? We've both had that. It's like I'd rather not say it than
listen
not
to the
say it enough.
recap, I believe, of the Xfinity race. Last week? I got to one. I'm just like
26.
24th was so-and-so, 26. I just skipped it. You know what? I learned that from Barney Hall. Barney taught me that. Barney got one time to a word he couldn't. He just skipped it. He just keep digging. Go. Just keep going.
Oh my gosh! It reminds me of the Grand Am days when I was with the MRN crew, and I would only talk to people whose names I couldn't pronounce. If somebody was. There were so many names down there, I had no idea. And then you look for that hard card, and the hard card would blow away, like be backwards.
Always turn
I'm like,
the other way.
and I'm looking at belts. That's all I did during those races. Look at drivers' uniform belts to read their name. Even then, I had to, pronounce them. Well, it was a clandestine situation, Mike. That's what it was. Oh my gosh! What else? Yesterday, I was here. I was kind of here in and out. I did some stuff, did some Zoom stuff, did some writing, power rankings, did some prep for some Big Ten stuff. Saw Amy, got the piece all trimmed up. So, yeah, nothing major. Sammy, what about that haircut of yours? Did you threaten you were going to get a haircut yesterday or no?
I need to get one here soon before we go on this trip. I was going to get it yesterday, didn't have time. Not going to be able to do it today either. Got some meetings / the biggest Premier League game of the season today. Kicks off at 3 p.m. So, yeah.
Who is it?
Oh, those 3 o'clock meetings.
Yeah, so it's Manchester City is playing Arsenal. Arsenal is in first place. Manchester City's in second place. Manchester City has played a game or two less, but basically if City wins this game, they'll jump over Arsenal and take the lead and probably not lose the league. There's I think 5 or 6 games to go, 4 or 5 games to go. So it's a pretty big game though, 1 versus 2 today at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
On a Wednesday?
On a Wednesday.
Love it.
They play big games in European soccer. They'll play those games at granted it's 8 o'clock p.m. over there because they're 5 hours ahead of us. Mm-hmm. But they'll play Wednesday night, Thursday night games and stuff like that, just kind of like how the NBA does and stuff like that too. So not going to be able to do it today. But I have to at some point. And Baggy, I was talking to Pete about this. I think I'm going to break away from the ladies who cut my hair normally.
He's going big time.
They're nice. They're very nice ladies. They are efficient. The haircut is done in 20 minutes. I don't need too many frills. Give me it's normally like, give me a 5 on the sides and scissors on the top. I like to wear it to the right. So like, let me be able to do that. That's all I need to do. They kind of get it. It's like $30 and they don't really, they don't speak any English really, so I don't have to make the small talk.
No small talk.
I hate making the small talk, so I really like the fact that like they don't. Hi, how you doing? I'm good. Boom. We're
These are all pros so far.
they're
So
off.
what's the
They're
cons
off
of
and
that
running.
situation?
The problem is that the haircut itself is like a 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10. Good enough.
Nah.
Not great. It's been fine
You
for
can
the
do better.
10 years I've gone there, but I think
right.
I'm ready to. I'm not losing my hair, but I think I'm thinning a little bit, so I might need a little bit of extra attention spent to the hair, and I want to get like a decent chop. So I'm gonna go drop some. I think I'm gonna have to drop some money here and go do it and get it done correctly.
That's right.
Just go to the
Listen,
barbershop.
You never have to apologize for quality, Sammy. Go for it.
Well, there aren't really barber shops for my kind of hair around this area.
Well, you're going to have it over by the office or over where you live. You're in 2 different locations.
Sure. There aren't really there's not like men's barber shops like around me. I don't really have
you
it's,
searched on an app?
yeah, it's a lot of it's more like salons and stuff like that. And also
DC stuff breaking out.
well that and also the
Poosh.
the people who cut the hair also men's hair, it's to more a specific clientele of men than myself, basically.
Yeah.
So it's not, they're not going to come. I not that I don't trust them to cut my hair, but like that's just not the style of hair. I'm not trying to get stair steps put into my hair and designs and stuff
Right.
like that. That's not what I'm trying to go for.
You need a classy style, but the
So-
small talk, it's worth it. to me.
Yes. So now I got to go. I got to spend the money, and then I don't know where to go now. Like I don't know, how do I judge who's a good barber? Is it just by Google ratings?
Let me offer
Yelp.
you this suggestion.
Yelp. If you don't Yelp when you come out of the barber, it's a good barber.
Yo.
Start, and I've done this before. Take a look at everybody walking around the office, and if you see a haircut you like, ask them, "Where do you get your haircut?"
There's like 6 people here.
Well, then you don't have much work to do. Then
No
you only have
mullets.
6 people.
No mullets would be
But
my only piece of advice.
If you
no
see
mullets.
if you see somebody like in a restaurant, you're waiting to pick up food. I've done this before. Be like, "Excuse me, sir, your haircut looks spectacular. Where did you get that haircut?" And you never know. I found a barber that way.
People might think that's like code for something.
It
Though.
kind of does sound that way, but okay.
Hey, listen, if you don't know what to do, I would not go Google reviews because they're so biased. Like, you really have to filter out. Like, if you do a review on something, okay, is this one a Karen? Is this one a legitimate axe to grind? Is this
Agreed.
a valid point? Or is this like Amazon reviews? Like, I'll go and look at a review on something. Well, the color of this wasn't right and it was misrepresented. Okay, but how did it work? And they don't say that. It's just, so it depends on, like, reviews are very biased, obviously, and you kind of got to sift through what the complaint is or the compliment is and try to figure out, like, what's valid, what's not. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to a barber or a hair salon or something like that.
I think I might have to go to a salon and not a barber.
Go to a salon, and on the way back, treat yourself to lunch at Poopy S.
No, Pope, yes.
Oh, Pope Yes.
I would go to Pope, yes. I don't know if I'm going to Poopy Eyes.
You might afterward. You never know.
Coming up at the bottom of the hour, headline check number 1. Pistol Pete's power rankings on the way as well. Uncle Petey will roll those out. We'll discuss them amongst ourselves and in turn with you. Coming up this morning at 8:50, we've got the calendar. Also, Jeff Gluck of The Athletic will join us at 9:30 a.m. in the East. And we're going to dust off a brand new exercise just for you later in the show. Stay tuned. Tune in early and often. We'll take your telephone calls at 866-BIT-LANE and your tweets at SiriusXM NASCAR. #TMD NASCAR.